CaNews podcast is now live.
Sweet. All right.
That thing's on?
2 minute 20 and
Oh, yeah.
Mark.
How do we start?
I don't know. We're back.
We didn't plan this very well.
No.
We're going to have a box right here.
Okay.
And it's going to go like this. So watch where you are. And then look, Brad.
Right.
Look at the camera.
Okay. This is tough. I've been looking at you for so long, Jeff.
know.
I don't know how I make the transition.
Here we are on video. Thank you for joining us back 2 years later. The last time we podcasted and even videoed was even before that.
Yes.
The last time we podcasted was October 2016.
Wow, so much has changed.
You're staring at me. I'm going to stare at you.
Okay. I was listening to you talking now.
Thanks for joining us, viewer. Enjoy this private conversation.
Well, I was wondering, do we need to share it out here? Or do we talk to
I think if we look at ourselves on the camera,
Okay.
that might be close enough that we feel like we're talking to each other.
Okay, perfect. All
We
right.
really should have practiced
We
this.
should have practiced this, but you know what? This is our format. This is how we do things here at CaNews. The main thing is that we're getting you guys our take on the news, however it looked in the last couple weeks, plus breaking stories the night of, and we hope that you enjoy our take on what's going down in the world and in Canada.
Now, I've got stories that I bring every week. Bradbury has stories that he brings every week, every 2 weeks, sorry. I don't know what he's brought. He doesn't know what I brought. So we'll have a conversation around them. You'll figure it out. I didn't even need to explain it, but here we are.
Bada boom, bada bing.
Last time we recorded, as I mentioned, was October 2016, Brad, and it was a much better time. We had some wagers going on it. Do you remember?
I do.
Okay,
Yes.
so I wrote down what I could remember, but I didn't go back and listen.
Okay.
I insisted that Trump wouldn't win,
Yes.
would not win.
So I won.
However, I backpedaled just before because when Arnold Schwarzenegger was voted in as governor of California, people showed that they wanted a change so bad that they elected Arnold. That was my point. And it turns out that, of course, is what happened. People have elected Donald Trump into power and are either reaping the benefits or paying the consequences, depending how white or wealthy you are.
Pretty much.
Hillary and Bernie were vying for a Democratic order. I lost the bet to you, if you remember. I think it was a $10 Tim's card that I had to get for you at the time. Tim's, by the way, has slid downhill since October 2016, so I think I actually have a thing on that. I do. So we'll talk about that in a little bit.
That $10 gift card is now worth $6. Yeah.
Congratulations. They are introducing a kids menu, and the new menu has grilled cheese sandwiches, chicken strips, and cream cheese chicken wraps, and a part of a promised series of food innovations. I'm just going to read those first two items again for you to show you how innovative they're being. Grilled cheese sandwiches and chicken strips.
Okay.
I think they already have those, don't they?
And sorry, did they promise the food innovations on the bottom of the kids' menu? So are the kids reading and be like, I can get grilled cheese, I can get chicken
Probably.
sticks,
Well, they
and I
have
can
pictures.
get innovative food creations.
And it'll be a little cartoon character saying, innovative! And he'll have a big IV.
He's got two beakers in each hand. He's mixing chemicals.
Nice. Probably. That's
Yeah,
what they
right.
do in the back. When you go to the drive-thru McDonald's, you see all those tubs of sugar, and you see somebody order a, I don't know, what are they, iced coffee. And they just
Anything?
take this liquid sugar, at least 4 pumps in there. I like my sugar, but that's a bit much.
That's what makes a cheeseburger so good. It's all the sugar in them. I swear to, I know.
And
I
a
swear.
cheeseburger?
Well, no, like you don't crave. The reason you enjoy cheeseburgers so much is the ketchup and the bun. There's so much sugar in the ketchup and the bun, and that's why it's like the same reason you
Are you
crave.
saying this because I told you I had McDonald's for dinner?
I may be alluding to that, but it's the same reason you like sushi. It's because of all the white rice is packed with all those sugars. You know, nobody craves raw fish. Well, maybe some people do.
Some people do, but
Yeah.
I sure as hell don't.
I mean, I love it. But.
So continuing on with Tim Hortons real quick.
Yeah.
Oh man, what's his name? Oh, the president, Alex Macedo? Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. M-A-C-E-D-O.
Mahasito.
Macito. He understands that the brand is recuperating from a hellish couple of years. He was quoted as saying, "It's been a fun ride," and then realizing, actually, fun is probably the worst word I could use.
Yeah, don't they have like crazy employee relation problems?
They have horrible employee relation
Yeah.
problems, franchisee relation problems. I think it was one in Alberta actually got locked out of his own franchise because he was rebelling against the ownership. And you are not allowed, as part of a franchise owner, you are not allowed to show any disconnect or distaste for corporate.
Oh.
So that's why he got locked out of his own franchise.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, it's like Game of Thrones in there.
Yeah, it's
jeez.
pretty awesome.
Wow. Well, okay.
Well, Game of Thrones is pretty awesome.
That's
so
right,
it
yeah.
has to be awesome by
Whenever
definition.
that comes back, that should be a story. When's that coming back?
April.
Is it?
Yes, April 2019.
We'll
You heard it
see.
here.
We'll see.
You heard it here for the 50th time.
Yeah.
Brad heard it here first.
That's true. I get all my news from this station, from Jeff.
From
yeah,
us.
Yeah. Well, the
This
last...
just in, Jeff. Oh, wow.
Is that holy? It was my birthday.
This just in.
Yeah. So the last time we were talking, Jeff, Canada Post was on strike. 2 years ago, Canada
yeah.
Post was
Oh,
on
boy.
strike, and guess what?
Glad that's settled.
Yeah, right. So about the same time last year, the government was talking about
2 years
putting
ago or
in-
last year?
2 years. Well, when did we record last?
16.
16. That's 2 years ago.
2 yeah.
2 years ago.
You
they
said
were
last
saying-
year, so I just wanted to clarify.
No, 2
Has
years
it been
ago.
an annual thing?
Almost.
Almost.
They
It happened
did.
in spring, didn't it?
No, I think 3 or 4 years prior to that.
Oh.
So maybe 2011. Don't quote me on that.
At work, we have to send out notices to our clients. Do not send anything in the mail, like
Yeah.
checks. So
Right.
I thought I remembered it happening earlier this year as well.
Not that I found in the story, but who knows? I mean, what they could have been is they could have been threatening it. Yeah.
It's all different having video.
Oh, that's right. You get to see exactly what you're
right.
doing. This is what we look like, by the way.
Yeah,
You know,
sorry.
if you've been listening to the podcast.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You're welcome. That's crazy. Did
So
you get to finish what you were talking about?
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
that's really all I had. I wanted to talk about a few of the things we were talking about, and that segued nicely into Canada Post, and also the election. Do you want me to talk about the election,
Which one?
the referendum? Not
Sure.
the election, the referendum.
Yes.
Okay. So if here in British Columbia, we're deciding what type of electoral system we're going to have. So are we going to have first past the post, which is the system we have currently and the system that exists in most provinces in Canada, I believe. And it's kind of, I mean, I couldn't begin to
Get
explain.
your news here at CaNews.
We do our best. Like the Electoral College in the States, that's a whole nother headache.
Oh, yeah.
But essentially, first past the post means the person who gets the most amount of votes usually gets in. Where it flaws is that, say, 40% of people vote for one person, but then 30% vote for another person and another 30% vote for another person, because 40% is more than those two 30% means the 40%er gets in. However, 60% is the majority of people, and therefore they're not represented. So that is first past the post, and a problem for some folks, which is fair. So they've got a couple of systems. Now, I'm not even going to try and explain this, because I watched 2 separate videos, 24 minutes long, and it still is not clear with me. Although, if you are interested in learning about it, where the heck is that silly rigmarole? This guy did a really great job.
I honestly thought you were faking and going, oh, here you go.
That's what I think of here. Reform. No, I did make an attempt at describing them briefly, which I will do, but the best way is to go to YouTube, BC Electoral Reform Referendum Explained. And that guy I didn't catch his name, but he did a great job.
If you want
it's
the
number
URL,
one.
it's youtube.com/capital K2G.
There'll be a link in our YouTube video, so check that out. But here's a quick blurb. Okay, so if you have any questions along the way, stop me. So the first option is dual member proportional voting, which means all the ridings stay the same. So if you're in Vancouver, it doesn't change, except smaller ridings double. So they now get 2 candidates. So if you live in like the interior or say out in Chilliwack, you now have 2 candidates. And the attempt there is to get a first candidate in, and then to more equally represent the population, a second candidate would be brought in to balance out the rural versus urban ridings. So that's a very quick, very rudimentary explanation of that.
Many states in the U.S. have 2 gubernatorial representatives,
Sure.
Regardless of the size of the state.
Right.
Right? So Maine will have 2,
Right.
and Texas will have 2.
And North and South
And
Carolina.
Maine is that big, and
Yes.
Texas is that big.
Yeah, and even the populations, like Maine is super small. I think Texas outweighs Maine considerably.
Considerably, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
With Austin And
that
the
other one.
And the other
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah, so then there's mixed member proportional, which means all the ridings increase about 50 to 100%. It means the overall number of people that we elect will increase to about 97. It's one vote per candidate and one vote per party. And the idea, again, is to bring the extra votes as a way to spread out and equalize the representation. Again, very simplistic explanation. And the last is rural-urban representation. So this is mixed member, the first option, plus STV, which is single transferable vote. I almost forgot what that stood for, which means you rank the candidates based on your favorite. And that would happen in the urban settings. Again, don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. But go check it out online. If you haven't voted yet in BC, you've only got like a couple of days. So, get that thing in. Just fill it out.
I don't know what I'm talking about, but enjoy this 5 minutes.
Can we speed that tape up and
Maybe.
condense all that? Anyway, so that's that.
Yeah, so a lot of people are talking about it, but not a lot of people are taking action on it, apparently.
Yes.
Either there are literally envelopes sitting in a warehouse somewhere since October 22nd, or not a lot of people are actually responding to these, despite I've heard a lot of people talk about them at the bar, at dinner, at work, at home, at family dinners and everything as well. So it's important, but I think there's a lack of action, very much so, because there's uncertainty. Even when you watch two 24-minute videos,
yes,
there's still uncertainty. And I'm sure there were graphics and explanations. And
he absolutely did a phenomenal job explaining it and laying it all out and making it tantalizing and stimulating and all those things. But I had to watch it twice to really get a handle for it. So
when you say you watched two videos,
yes,
you watched
no,
one video.
The CBC has a video. It's about 5-6 minutes long. Yeah. I did say 25 minutes each, but just the one video was 25
I
minutes.
misinterpreted that.
That's fair.
As
I mean, you can
I
go
bet
back.
You did at home as well.
That's right. If you just watch the beginning of this, you'll find that I'm a liar. So that's easily proved. 24% of eligible voters have weighed in as of last Thursday. The whatever that was.
Referendum?
17th. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was that many.
Yeah. So it was really low as of 2 weeks ago, but as of last Thursday, it's a lot more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I saw
we're
an
getting there.
old article.
We're getting there.
All right.
Yeah.
So I don't have a speaking of, because talking about cannabis, I think we talked about that earlier.
Yeah, we did.
So back in May of this year, of 2018, there was a Vancouver man who named Sam Znaimer, who was traveling down, and he was asked about his investments, asked about his lifestyle, and simply because of his investments in cannabis companies back in May,
right,
he was banned for life from going to the States. Yeah. Well, that was the big news back then. Flash forward, here we are again. A representative from Vancouver doesn't want to be named. It's embarrassed. Sure, I wouldn't want to be. I wouldn't want to go through that at all. So he's been banned, a lifetime ban as well. So you can argue this. There is something called a waiver I-92.
Okay.
And it costs you $600, I think US, and you go and you get that, and it gets approved for a year or 5 years, whatever the duration is, and you need to continually get it redone. So there is a thing if you are invested in a cannabis company, and the border patrol people ask you, it's because it's not a legal business in the States. So once you're at that border, they've got that jurisdiction. So they're asking you if you were invested in any cannabis companies, whether or not they ask you if you smoke cannabis or anything nowadays, they're asking this question. They do have ways to get to your personal history.
Yeah, they can search anything.
Except your investments on the Toronto Stock Exchange, unless they get into your direct bank account information.
But they're allowed to access that.
Can they?
Well, I don't know.
I don't think they can.
Okay.
So the advice that I've seen twice online is to lie.
Good. That's what we're down to, folks. Yeah. Dishonesty, our closest neighbor.
That's
we have
the
to lie to
Canadian way.
Yeah, we don't have your barbecue full of pot. No.
A barbecue full of pot?
Well, it's the neighbor who always borrows the barbecue and never returns it. So this one's full of pot because Canada's full of pot.
I see.
Know. It came to my mind. Is this about the guy who's going down to Vegas and who got a lifetime ban?
That's right. Yeah. Oh, on his way to a cannabis investment convention.
Yeah. Happening legally in the States.
Gonna get a tour of the facility.
Yes.
But if you're going to be crossing a border that you know is flagging people, even if the word cannabis is heard off in the distance.
Sure.
Tell them you're going.
I just imagine him driving up in his car, being like, I'm going across the border, and 3 cars back, somebody yells, cannabis! And he was like, oh, that's right, get out of here. Who, him? Yeah, that's right. I thought so. Anyway,
happened.
yeah.
Seriously, but yeah. So So if they can't get to your bank records, sorry, I thought they honestly couldn't. So I had here.
Yeah.
That's one of the only things they can't. They can get your criminal history, your health records, your police contacts.
Your health records?
Yep. Family member information, history of border crossings. Of course, they'd have them in their own system.
Right.
But they don't have the back access to the Toronto Stock Exchange, which you'd be invested in with cannabis companies in Canada. But I hadn't thought of the bank accounts.
The only reason I thought is because when I got hauled in, many times I've been hauled in, they were interrogating, and I'm using that word accurately, a woman and her husband who had an investment property down in the States, and they were required to submit bank statements, and they refused the couple because they had a negative balance in one of their bank statements.
What?
Yep. They're like, you don't have enough money. Like, you're going down for a property. What are you going to buy? You can't buy anything. You don't have any money. So they turned them around.
Well, you don't usually buy a house with the money in your bank account.
Well, that's what she said. She's like, we own the house. We have everything else. And he was like, nope. And he turned them around.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I love the border.
Next.
Yep. Moving right along. Jeff, are you lonely?
No.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, apparently, quite a few people in Vancouver are lonely.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a new CBC series called...
How lonely are you?
Me?
No, the TV
Oh,
series.
that would make sense. Pretty Lonely.
Is that the name of it?
Yes, that's the name of it. So this is a new radio web series that they're trying out, talking about Vancouver and how 20 to 30-year-olds seem to be kind of socially isolated is the term that they use. But essentially, this one of the people that they interviewed, his name was Winston Yun, and he posted on Reddit saying, "I'm so lonely in Vancouver, I don't know what to do anymore." And Winston had tried different social gatherings. He tried volunteer clubs and different meetup groups, and he just hasn't had any luck. So he posted on Reddit, said, does anybody have any ideas? How can I get involved? How can I make some more friends? So it's been stimulated an interesting debate. Yeah. But, I mean,
So
yeah.
it sounds like he's tried something.
Yes, absolutely.
And he didn't find what he was looking for. He didn't make one-on-one connections. What was missing?
He doesn't have any friends, is what he's saying. He's struggled with this his whole life. He said even in elementary school, he actually took the time to write down his number on pieces of paper, and he handed them out through the class. And his teacher said, no, you can't do that. But he's, keen to make friends, and just his whole life has been spent here in Vancouver, and he's just been unsuccessful really making deep connections with folks. So he's asking for help. He says, how do I do it better? And of course, it stimulated debate. Some people are on the side of like, well, you just got to get out there, champ, and keep cracking at it. And then some people are...
Thanks, tips.
Yeah, right? And some people agree. But it is a very... I don't...
Some people are like, I'm lonely too.
Yeah.
What can we do?
But, it does speak to a couple of things, and I don't want to get off on like this is a huge topic.
That's so not Brad to go off on a rant.
Like social isolation, obviously seniors, this is been a problem for those, when you're getting older, your friends and family die, your kids stop visiting you, you're like, can't get out of the house. They say kids are really susceptible to social isolation, just because their egos are so fragile at that age. But 20 to 30-year-olds are really suffering from this now. I mean, really suffering. I couldn't find any stats on it, but it's a thing. I mean, yeah. Can I segue really quickly?
Yeah, please do.
I listened to a podcast the other day, and this fellow named Johan Hari, who's a journalist. He's controversial because he was accused, and then it was proven that he plagiarized some stuff. Small detail. But he wrote a book called Waiting for the Scream, I think it's called. Chasing the Scream, sorry. And anyway, he made a really good point, and it was all about drugs and drug addiction. And the point of the story is that social interaction is the cure for so many things. A sense of community, a sense of tribe really does your body so much good. So although on the surface it might just be like, oh, this guy's got no friends, wah, it does resonate into bigger problems. I mean, that guy last year in Toronto, or was it last year?
I don't know the end of your sentence, so can't quite chime in.
Remember? The whole incel thing? Do you remember that?
Incel?
Incel. So it stands for involuntarily celibate. They tried to tie him to this movement. I don't know if that was factually accurate or not. But the point is he felt isolated. Now, I don't want to get into that story. That's a whole ball of wax and a bunch of peanuts that we don't need to eat. But it does speak to a greater topic about involving us people together. Community.
That was quite the analogy a moment ago. Ball of wax and peanuts.
Anyway, that's it.
I think, a sense of community, what it does is it gives you a sense of checks and balances.
Right.
You typically hang out with like-minded people, even if not the same genre. You don't know me very well, but myself and Graham, for example, are on the outside, two completely different lifestyles, two completely different people. But as soon as we got used to each other within a few hours or days, we've been best of friends ever since. 20 years later. So, and when you have a group of community around you, you know, we'll be seeing these people in 2 days. I don't want to be have track lines up my arm, or I don't want to be completely unwashed or unbathed, covered in acne because I didn't bathe.
Sure.
But because people have acne, right?
Yes,
I can't fault them for that.
No,
right?
it's teenagehood. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what it does. It gives you those checks and balances that I'm making this conscious decision because I feel I'm a like-minded person like this, and Brad wouldn't do that. And I'm seeing Brad tonight, tomorrow, whatever, right? So it does give you that sense of community, like you said. There are people who do enjoy isolation.
Sure.
I'm genuinely one of them. I do like being alone. My alone time is very, very highly valued.
Yes.
However, I do like also the sense of community.
Yes.
But being an introvert, I do need that time away to, thank goodness, plus anxiety and everything else that all we nowadays have anyway. So, I totally agree. It does sometimes boil down, and I'm not singling anyone who's been mentioned out at all. It does also boil down to, why doesn't anyone like me? There may be checks and balances for yourself to get into as well. There may be a way you're approaching it. It sounds like this gentleman, for example, is doing the right thing, going to the right places and taking the right activities.
Yep.
He just may need some lessons on speech patterns and communicability with individuals and how they want to communicate back. Sometimes people, for example, may talk too much about themselves. It may be something so simple that you are or aren't doing. Just one tiny change. So watch some YouTube videos. I'm sure there's some on the topic.
You can be friends with us. Hi.
Not this guy. No. I value my alone time.
But I think it's a choice. Like if you're an introvert, you want to take some time. That's a choice, and then you
prefer
it,
or
But you've got that network to be like, okay, I've had some downtime. Now I want to see my friends again. And Winston did say that he had made some friends at work. It took a long time, but he did make some friends. I think he was commenting on Vancouver as a whole being a very cold city. I think that was another part of the discussion too, because I know I've felt Vancouver, my single days, it was tricky. It was a tricky one to navigate. I know a lot of people who are single in Vancouver say that it's,
if you want it bad enough,
horrible.
there's lots of places to go.
Yeah, Tinder.
Tinder's actually a really good place to meet people and not just try to have sex, but actually find community people who you are like-minded. You end up having more conversations than you do meeting people in person, right?
That's good.
So, You never used Tinder before?
Oh yeah, like back in the day. But when I used Tinder when it first came out, it was just for hooking up. But I didn't.
It didn't work out for me.
No, because I didn't know that was what it was for. So I was trying to talk to people like a human.
Hello, how are you?
That's right. Yeah.
Show me your dick.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, what are you doing?
All right.
Yeah.
Now tell me how you're doing.
Yeah. Now that we got that out of the way.
I had a last thing I didn't get to mention earlier, but we were talking about Canada Post already. So, so Canada Post is encouraging, it's November 22nd, is encouraging you to still send letters to Santa Claus. They will send them, all letters to Santa delivered by December the 10th will be delivered. But what if the strike continues until then? No answer.
They did not respond?
No.
The message is in the mail.
So I'm doing it. I'm going to send in letters for my kids.
Nice.
As we do every year, probably getting down to the last couple times due to their ages. 10 and 7.
Oh, I thought I was going to ask when the letters have to be in
December
order to
10th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's the cutoff. Okay.
Yeah, that's the cutoff date.
Sure.
But if the strike continues to or past December 10th, there's no
Christmas.
no more Christmas.
It's canceled.
You have to deliver the packages and letters yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah, that would be.
There's a guy who needs a friend. There you go.
Just start going door to door.
Just start delivering packages from people.
Or writing the letters
Merry
back,
Christmas. Yeah, that's not a bad idea at all.
Very nice. Very nice.
I don't need to get into any of my other ones. Aside from a social media thing, since this will be shared on social media.
Yes.
This happened a year or two ago. Actually, it happened maybe 2 years ago because we were on the air. Actually, would it have to be 3 because it was a seasonal thing. So there's something that's coming around again already. It's called the Secret Sister campaign. It says, hey, buy a gift card for so-and-so. Or are you a member?
Yes. No, I'm not.
Because it's secret?
Yes.
So it says, buy a... what is it? It's a pyramid scheme, basically. Don't fall for it. I had a couple of friends. I know about it, and I'm reporting about it right now because I had 2 of my friends on Facebook 3 years ago, I guess it was, share this thing. And I don't know if they ended up spending money or getting involved going through with it, but I think it connected enough to myself that I'm going to let everybody know that Secret Sister is a pyramid scheme.
Wow.
People who, if you started it like fresh today,
Yeah.
you'd maybe get some of the benefits, gift cards and money and stuff like that. But ultimately, it's an unsustainable system as the pyramid goes down. It can't hold itself up as skepticism builds, and it just collapses. But if you're the one who starts it, so you may be seeing it started again and again and again by different people.
Mm-hmm. Jeff, have you heard of Amway?
I sure have.
Okay. Dang. All right. Yeah. Well, speaking of spending lots of money and taking lots of money, I don't know. Anyway, Maria Antoinette. Does that name ring a bell for anybody?
She's back in the news?
She's back in the news. That's right. You can try and keep her down. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So her jewelry went up at auction at Sotheby's. And
she wasn't buried in it, I guess.
No, she wasn't. Well, just before they lopped her head off, she took a bunch of jewelry off, put it in a trunk, shipped it off to Vienna? Brussels, sorry. And then it traveled to Vienna, where an Austrian emperor, who was Maria Antoinette's nephew, hung on to it for a while. Then
all the way till 2018?
Well, no.
How did he do it?
He then passed it on to the Bourbon Parma family, and they are the ones who put it up for auction at Sotheby's. So, just a ballpark, one of her pearls, it was estimated to sell for $1 to $2 million. Jeff, how much did it sell for?
You just told me $1 to $2 million.
No, that was estimated.
One pearl, like one literal pearl.
Yeah, it was one of the
not a necklace.
Specific ones. Yeah, it was like a pearl brooch. I don't know. I didn't write that part down, but yeah, it was
like a thing they wear here or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's got a pearl in it.
Estimated to be sold at 1 to 1.2.
Yeah.
Or to 2, 1 to 2?
1 to $2 million.
Okay.
Yeah. What did it sell for?
I'm gonna guess it's something stupid like 12.
Yeah, even stupider.
40.
Yeah, close. 36.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so it broke a bunch of records, which was fantastic. But
for who?
For Sotheby's for auctions.
Okay, great.
Yeah. But 36 million. That's a lot of cake.
Did you actually write? That's a lot of comment. You highlighted it. You even highlighted it.
I spent way too much time on
Unbelievable.
that.
We don't do this, Brad. We commentate.
Yeah.
So I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got one more.
You got one more? Okay.
Just really briefly, what do we got? It's just bright lights in the Irish skies. So I don't know if are you a UFO believer?
No.
I totally am. I think it's exciting. And
I think it's exciting.
Yes. But you don't believe in UFOs at all? Really? You don't believe in life outside of our planet?
Of course I do. But UFO stands for unidentified flying object.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I guess, do you believe that there could be aliens like flying through our airspace?
The possibility exists.
Yes.
But do I think what's being seen and reported today and
a UFO?
decades past are UFOs?
Yeah.
No.
Well, maybe this story will convince you, Jeff. So here we go.
Of course, I believe in life outside of Earth.
Well, that's what I thought. Okay. I was like, that was super weird. Yeah. So this all started when one pilot asked the tower in Ireland to confirm for her if the airspace that she was going to land in was clear. Sometimes they do military practices, so she said, can you confirm? The tower came back, said, no, there's nothing going on tonight. All good. She said, well, that's weird, because I just saw 2 lights stream past me and then zip out of sight really fast. So there was like, that's weird. But then over the radio chatter, another pilot said, yeah, that's crazy. I just saw the same thing. And they both described these lights coming into view and then doubling, like they said, Mach 2, twice the speed of sound, like bolting away. Just
I can eyeball that.
Yeah. So that's all good. That's all well and good. Yeah, I don't know how they... Well, I guess because relative to them.
Damn, that looked like to be about Mach 2.
So the lights came up beside them, and they... Well, just imagine, like, if you're going... it's just our light down here. Yeah, if you're cruising along, and, you're in a plane doing 600-700 kilometers an hour. So something...
6-7 kilometers an hour?
700 kilometers an hour, which I think the speed of sound is about 600 miles, 700 miles in there. Anyway, so, and then two lights come up next to you, and then you, like, leave you. You know when you're in the highway and there's
I thought they said they were down there in the visual area.
No, like they came up near them, next to them.
Yeah.
Not like side by side. They weren't waving or anything, but...
No, but I'm picturing, okay, we're going to come in for landing. Anything I should know about? No, we're all clear. Really? Because I see a couple something in my way.
They weren't landing. They were wondering if the airspace they were in.
I see.
Yeah, so they weren't close to landing yet. Yeah, so then another pilot chimed in. He saw the same thing. And then a third pilot chimed in. He said, wow, I'm glad this isn't me, but I saw the same thing. 3 different pilots from 3 different locations described the same thing.
From 3 different vantage points, saw the same thing in the same space.
Saw the same thing in the same space.
So it couldn't have been a reflection of light here,
That's
here,
right.
and here.
Yeah.
They each, from a different vantage point, saw the same thing in that space.
That's right. So it was Norwegian Air, Virgin Airlines, and British Airways all saw this. Now there is one David Moore, who is the head of astronomy at Ireland. That's a cool job. He told the Irish Times
Where do you work? Ireland.
Yeah. So hang on. So let me finish. He is the head.
No. Thank you for joining us.
He is the head of astronomy, and he told the Times that he is 1,000% sure that it was a meteor. He's 1,000% sure.
He's 1,000% sure.
Yeah.
That a meteor stayed stationary and then zipped off. 2 of them.
It doesn't matter. He's 1,000% sure.
That's a lot of percent.
Yeah, you can't be 1,000% sure.
You can if you're really, really arrogant.
Anyway, so he said he had received at least 4 reports of a fireball from a meteor entering the atmosphere. From the
3 reports from pilots? Well, I had 4 reports on the phone.
So he doesn't buy it for a bit. And I don't buy that he's 1,000% sure.
I don't know if you heard me a moment ago, but 4 is more than 3, Brad.
That's
so
true. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
So he did 4 divided by 3 and got 1s and 0s. With 1,000%.
He just
Perfect.
moved the decimal over a few spots.
Smart man. Well, he is the astronomer of Ireland.
That's right.
So we have to trust him.
All of Ireland.
All right. All good?
I think that's it.
All right. That's it for our first actual full. Actually, we did this before, like 3 years ago. Remember we filmed an episode?
That's right.
It's lost to the ages now,
Yeah.
but this is our first official CaNews episode. We're going to do it every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Thank you very much for joining us. We're going to give you as much behind the scenes stuff as we possibly can,
like
as much stuff on all the... We're going to improve this nonsense back here, even though I think there's probably a picture right there, hopefully. I don't know. We'll do it in post and find out.
That's it. Follow us on CaNews Podcast
Nope, not .com. That's gone now. Yeah, we don't have a site. However, all socially, CaNews Podcast.
That's right.
At CaNews Podcast.
We're on Instagram. We're going to have a YouTube channel, and...
We're going to have a YouTube channel. We need videos first.
Yeah. All right.
Ding.
Bye.
And live video.
Press that one. I think that went really well.
I love it.